All right, I'm here with Alisa and Thom from The Naked and Famous. Guys, thanks for coming in, and girls.
Hi, thank you.
You're welcome. Hi.
How are you guys feeling? Because it's been a crazy. I don't know how long has it been since the album came out. I mean, it's been probably a wild ride for you guys the last year, maybe year and a half.
Yeah, I mean, the album actually came out back home in Australia and New Zealand. Home is New Zealand, but Australasia. In must have been September, maybe? Was that September last year? And then the rest of the world, I think March this year. So we've just been touring basically since then.
Are you guys still feeling the momentum? You know what I mean? Is it still like a crazy roller coaster for you guys, or what?
Yeah, because we really haven't had much time off. We've had little pockets here and there over the year, but before we came to the States, we were in Australia for 2 weeks, and it's just been back to back. So we just recorded a 20-hour flight, 3 flights to get to America, and now we're in Canada. So my brain feels like it's been in a blender.
It's okay, mine too, but I don't have an excuse. You guys do. I mean, how do you guys like Canada? I mean, have you guys been to Canada before? Or?
Yeah,
we've been a few times, and the shows have been amazing, and things seem to be going pretty well for us over here. And I think you're actually ahead as far as releases, because we put out some EPs back in 2008, like the first things we ever released, and I think they've come out here before they have in North America. So well done for being ahead. It's it's nice. Every time we come here, it's just quite lovely, and I don't know, it just seems to be
nice.
It is always nice.
Yeah.
People are always nice.
You guys have good luck then.
yeah.
Yeah.
I guess tell me about the album, and what's it like when you put out a record and it does so well. You know what I mean? How does it make you guys feel good as musicians? You know, is that what you wanted?
I mean, we never really intended to have a career outside of Auckland, to be honest. In New Zealand, we didn't ever kind of like see ourselves being played on radio other than the college radio back home.
Yeah.
So like our radio station BFM, which is like, it's the kind of the cool
Beer FM?
sorry, BFM. Yeah, it's like, a cool alternative radio station that we wanted to get played on. So we did that, and then we were pretty happy with that. And then, I don't know, things just started to snowball and just get bigger, and we were kind of pulled out of our country. Like, it's being a New Zealand band, you can't decide really to go overseas. You can't decide that you want to do something overseas unless you've got the money yourself to put into actually getting out of the country. It's just too expensive. The logistics of leaving the country to set up as an artist somewhere else is virtually impossible to do on your own. So, we're very privileged to have had the attention and to be pulled out of the country and kind of given the opportunity to put our record out worldwide.
We had Liam Finn in here last week, and he pretty much said the same thing, and he was talking about, once he had left New Zealand, he went back and he was like, I don't know if I like it back here now, because he had sort of, I guess, played music elsewhere. How do you guys feel, now that you've toured the world and played all these places, you know what I mean? Are you looking forward to going home? Do you want to keep touring?
I was going to say, not at all, actually. I think it's different for Liam, because he has so much more ease of going back home because of his dad, obviously.
That helps.
Yeah, that helps. For us, going back home is pretty much just going back to what we were doing when we were there. It's not like we can sort of, we're not going back to anything more than our families. And there's this, I mean, that in itself would be lovely, and I'm doing that for Christmas. Like, I'm going to go home and see Mum. But to be honest, there's this kind of walk of shame that New Zealand bands do. Like the first time you leave home and you go flatting or renting, is that what you call it? Rent. Yeah. You do that for a year and a half, and then you run out of money, and then you end up going back home, right?
Yeah.
New Zealand bands do that when they go overseas, because they do it on their own accord, or like they don't really have that someone pulling them out of the country. They're really just trying to do it on their own, on their own skin, back of, what's the saying? Back of their own
skin of their own back or something.
Yeah, so. Yeah, I don't want to go home because I'm kind of terrified of doing that. I don't want to have that sort of walk of shame going back. I just want to stay away and stay kind of within the industry that we're now working in. I mean, we're still going to create music the same way we always have, and still basically our way or the highway. We're not going to, start hanging out with producers for no apparent reason or anything like that. But yeah, we're definitely not that keen to go home, industry-wise anyway.
I feel the same. It's
Okay.
so just being away from, being around the world and playing in all these great places and going home, you realize how small our hometown is. And I reckon we'd just be sitting there with idle hands going, so, what do we do?
Is it so? I guess it's still a blessing. The whole experience, and are you sick of playing the songs yet? Have you guys reached that point yet?
No.
It's kind of not part of the ethos of what we do to, like, for so many like young rock bands, they kind of it's very accidental. It's kind of like four guys hanging in a room, and then someone helps them formulate an idea that's going to be their aesthetic and turns them into a band, and then producers get involved and stuff. But for us, we're so much more hands-on, and we're so very in control of what we're doing that we don't really do stuff and then go, oh damn, I wish we hadn't done that. Like we don't really have any regrets, especially and most importantly, musically and artistically. We're not like I'm still proud of the lo-fi EPs that we put out back in 2008, which I can't wait for them to be almost as popular as our album is as well. But yeah, so I don't know. I don't really have any regrets. I like looking back and thinking like, wow, I did that. Even if I feel like I've moved on from then, it's cool to look back. It's like it's like a mental photograph of what you were creating. It's quite flattering to look at.
Yeah, and we did have a really long time to write the album, so there was a lot of reflection, and so every single decision that we made was really strong and intentional, and nothing was really accidental.
Cool. Talk about some of the themes on the record, because aggressive me, passive you. Passive me, aggressive you. Did I fuck that up? Sorry. It's the most professional interview you guys have ever done. But I mean, talk about some of the themes on the record, because Young Blood was the big song here anyways, and if you actually, it's a really upbeat song, but if you sort of listen to the lyrics, it seems like it's a bit of a contrast. It's actually kind of a dark song. I don't know, maybe I'm reading it wrong.
No,
but
you're right. So I don't know, I guess it's a whole tragedy in art sort of thing, getting a bit philosophical, need to say, but it's
is it a breakup record?
No, it's not the theme of it's not a very singular kind of album by any means, and I don't think anything that we write or do has any very simple kind of, it's this song, it's kind of complicated and everything's a little bit convoluted and seen from different angles, and as soon as Alisa's written a lyric for something that I've come up with, like I'll finish off a different line or move something around, and all of a sudden it's got two perspectives and vice versa. So
people can kind of instill their own meanings into our songs, I guess, especially Young Blood, because it's not particularly about one thing. It's kind of a collection of elements of being youthful and being spontaneous and stuff. So a lot of people have a different meaning, for that song.
Well, I mean, that's the beauty of music, is like once it's out there, it's up for interpretation, right? Well, can you tell me about Punching in a Dream? Because that was also really big over here, and it's in FIFA. It's in a soccer game. Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Do you guys like soccer? Of course you like soccer. You're from New Zealand. No? Okay.
I grew up. My brothers played, FIFA soccer games growing up, so I'm familiar with it.
Was it a moment, when you're like, did you guys play the video game and like, where you can hear it?
I haven't played the video game yet, but
get on that, man. Come on.
It's hard to keep up with all the stuff that syncs and whatnot. It's just too many, and we don't really have enough time. I'm still trying to finish. I just got Do X. Do you know that video game?
No.
Sorry. I'm a pretty big nerd. So play a lot of video games.
I'm a pretty big nerd too. We can start. If you want, we can totally talk Star Wars if you want. Right now.
Star Wars. All right. Screw the interview. Let's do it.
But I mean, actually, you guys did it. You make a point though. I mean, you guys were in tons of TV shows, and was that something that I guess you have to do these days in terms of making money as a band?
Yeah. I mean, you definitely have to do it to kind of make the equivalent, I guess, of what you used to make record sales wise, totally, and that's only if you're privileged enough to have, or lucky enough, I guess. It's just a lot of luck to have TV sync guys coming to you saying, "Can we put your songs in this show?" But yeah, I mean, that sort of stuff for us is strange because it's basically the definition of selling out. You're just saying, "Sure, use the song and pay me." But
times have changed though.
Yeah, and it's funny though because the perception of selling out has always been completely wrong anyway. As soon as you start selling your music, you're selling out. That's, an idea that people are purchasing. So, there's no real argument that anyone can really justify. But yeah, I mean, sync licensing in that sort of world is funny because the public don't really understand how it works. I mean, I hardly understand how a lot of it works. It's pretty complicated. But basically, someone comes to you and says, "Can we use your song? We'll give you this fee, and if you want to make money as a band, it's like, okay, sure." Yeah. You can pretend that makes you cooler, but okay. Help yourself. But then sometimes you get fantastic syncs, like, FIFA soccer, I'm a video game guy, and it's awesome. It's like, cool. Yeah, so stuff like that is fantastic. And, and film especially, and TV shows, it's great. Things, even if I don't watch the TV shows, like I watch a lot of TV, and the climate of, TV shows now where people are doing things like, Breaking Bad and Boardwalk Empire and things like that, those are, yeah, they're there's no difference between that and a great film. They're not sort of, just because it's a TV show, it's not like less artistic, or it doesn't have, fantastic actors are doing TV now. So yeah, it's pretty flattering and pretty wonderful to be involved in that sort of stuff.
What can you tell me about Punching in a Dream, the song itself? Because one of the best comments I read, on YouTube, is somebody was like, "Do not listen to this at work because you will quit your job immediately." So
that was for what? That was for what?
Punching in a Dream.
Oh wow.
Awesome.
Cool.
I mean, is it about life, and the bigger picture?
It's actually about like having a breakdown.
Yeah, about feeling immobilized and unable to move. You're just, stuck in that awful feeling that you just can't do anything, having a breakdown in the corner, can't move.
Yeah. So I was going to say, some of the parts that I'd written for some of the lyrical stuff that I wrote is kind of like focused around this horrible, awful show that I had in New Zealand, where I just had a immense anxiety and panic attacks
On stage?
No, before we went on stage, and it just kind of totally ruined 3 days of my life. And yeah, that's sort of New Zealand music industry for you.
Yeah. But you guys are lucky. I mean, you can actually write songs about it, right? If
Sure,
that happened to me, I don't know what I would do, really.
Yeah, I mean, that's all you.
But I'm not going to say on camera.
No, but I mean, that's all you can do, really. Is I guess that's the catharsis of pop music. You can turn stuff into lyrics and ideas, and you can kind of embody crap, just crap in your life, and you can turn it into something wonderful. So yeah, I mean, some people might find that corny, but I reckon it's awesome.
How old are you guys, if you don't mind me asking?
Older than 17.
I'm going to go 24.
Well done. I just turned 24.
Really? Cool.
I'm
And well, you don't have to ask the lady, but
Oh, cool.
that's the right
Let's
thing.
get that.
The only reason I'm asking is because you guys obviously have influences that are a little older, maybe, and I wonder, what did you listen to growing up, and how did you end up making the music that you do?
I grew up on 90s alternative hard rock. So
Big metalhead. He's a big metalhead.
first record I ever bought I got when I was 10 years old. Tool, Anima, still one of my favorites. And yeah, things like Perfect Circle and Nine Inch Nails was a point for me when I hit that band, and all of a sudden electronic music opened up, and then I was like, wow, Massive Attack, and
Makes a lot of sense.
yeah, and then moved forward into things like Bjork and et cetera, et cetera. So yeah, just 90s alternative music in general it's really where my roots sort of are. But yeah.
Alisa?
I grew up listening to the Smashing Pumpkins. That was the band that made me want to learn to play the guitar. And then PJ Harvey, and there is a New Zealand folk artist called Bit Karonga that I was really into when I was about 12 years old. And then I moved on to things like Björk and the Yeah Yeahs, and when I met Thom actually, and we both like Massive Attack and Tricky and
All that stuff?
Mm.
Portishead?
Portishead,
definitely,
yes,
yeah.
absolutely.
I have to ask then about Nirvana, because you're of that age bracket, and everyone's talking about 20 years. Do you remember the first time you heard Nevermind?
Yeah, I mean, it's actually kind of weird though, because it was actually just past our generation. My generation was Limp Bizkit and Korn, and new metal was actually that was
Nerdy.
that was
You had to go there?
that was what was on the radio at the time. I think I remember more when Eminem first came out than I would say Nirvana, because 1994 was it? That was Nevermind.
Yes.
So how old was I? 7.
Yeah.
A little bit too young
Just a
to.
little too young.
Yeah. So, kind of like.
You were still listening to Raffi. I don't know if you know who Raffi is, but okay. Never mind.
But so
I think I was
Sesame
definitely
Street.
young too. I was 94. No Doubt Tragic Kingdom came out in 95. And I was all about that when I was at that age. So I think I missed it. But I didn't actually really understand Nirvana until I was about 21. I didn't really get it until I was about that age.
Yeah.
Cool.
Mm.
What are you guys listening to now? What are you guys digging? What's on the iPod?
Oh, there's this electronic band. This is one guy from Berlin. His name's Apparat.
Okay.
And it's just really great electronic pop, kind of weird alternative music.
Cool. Thom?
Yeah, I've been listening to that record as well. What else? I was listening to Friends band the other day, Kids of '88, New Zealand band. We've done some touring with them, and they're really fantastic. And if anyone likes us, I think they would quite enjoy Kids of '88 as well.
And Wolfgang, who we toured with, they were the first UK band that we toured with when we went over there for the first time. And we recently just got off a European tour with them, and they're great.
Cool. And then I guess last question would be, what does the future hold for you guys? For the fans, they want to know, I guess, new music, tour plans, all that stuff.
Oh, we're just trying to figure that out at the moment. Various email back and forth things about plans and stuff. We're just sort of, planning next year. But basically, next year is record number 2. Yeah. So yeah, unfortunately, I can't say that we'll have a new record by the start of next year or anything like that. But we're trying as hard as we can to move forwards creatively. Like I'm really focused on like not getting stuck in that second album rut that so many bands get into, and it just seems, I don't know, silly to me, because the only reason I've ever wanted to be a musician in a band is to keep creating music. So to stop that process is kind of driving me insane. So I'm just like really wanting to just get back in the studio. But yeah, so we're trying to move forwards as fast as possible, simply to keep me from killing everyone. But
I get the impression you guys would be making music either way.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
No matter where we are, we'll always be doing it. It's really exciting, actually. Yeah, really excited about making the second record.
Okay, cool. Well, when you have it out, come back.
Yeah.
Cool.
We will.
Awesome.
Promise.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Very much. Cheers.
Cool.